Hey guys, this week for Weapons Wednesday, we're testing out these automatic knives as well as some of the other new weapons we just added to the KarateMart.com website. But before we begin, if you just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. So last week, we tested out some of the newest weapons we recently added to the KarateMart.com website. And then I asked you to go to the community tab and vote for which one you like best. And you guys went to the community tab and voted for the Dark Assassin Tactical Wakizashi. Excellent choice, guys. I absolutely love the balance of this sword, so I think it would make an excellent combat weapon. But before we begin today, I just want to go through some of the comments that you guys left on our YouTube channel. So the first one I got was from a guy named Wolverine5300, and he leaves comments regularly, so I absolutely appreciate that, and it's so much fun getting to know all of you guys. So Wolverine5300 said, "When using the wakizashi, it sounded like the Wing Chun dummy was complaining about the sword getting stuck in it." And you are so right. In fact, when we were watching the video on the YouTube live feed in the morning, we had so many people comment about that, and it was so funny. In fact, we had one guy who said it just perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and make that sound so you guys can see what he's talking about. Did you guys hear that? I'm going to do it one more time. So the person on our YouTube live feed said that that sounded just like a doe call when you're hunting deer. And he's absolutely right. Growing up in Wisconsin, I heard a lot of doe calls, and it sounds exactly like that. So I thought that was such a clever comment. Now, the next comment we got on our YouTube channel was from the Deaderer, that's hard to say, the Deaderer 8791. And he says, "Hey Kyle, awesome job. Are you guys getting any more of the stainless steel spear staff in stock anytime soon?" Well, that is an excellent question. So a lot of the weapons we have here at KarateMart.com are handmade in our headquarters, and the stainless steel spear staff is one of them. So some of these weapons take a little bit of time for us to manufacture, and we just finished a new batch of stainless steel spear staffs. So here's what it looks like. And we've got a whole bunch of them available on KarateMart.com right now, but just be aware they may sell out quickly, so if you want one, definitely go ahead and order it right away. Now, the last comment I just wanted to respond to was from Asapunk at South Vinland 7145. So Asapunk, last week I kind of called you out on our video and then responded to your comment, and then you wrote this comment afterwards and said, "It's Asapunk, not Asapunk, but thank you for the attention, rock on." So I just want to apologize, Asapunk. I mispronounced that. It's very difficult to pronounce some of these names on YouTube, but I'm just going to make it up to you by saying, hey everyone, check out Asapunk's YouTube channel. It's absolutely delightful. This guy is so darn creative. He makes his own special effects on his videos, and when I watch them, I absolutely crack up and just love this guy. But at the end of this video, if you guys could just go to the community tab and vote for which weapon you like best, and as always, there are links in the description of the video so you can find out more information on each of these products. But without further ado, let's go on to our very first item. All right, and our very first weapon is the Hidden Blade Knuckles. Check these things out, Mel. These are so cool. So first off, I just want to mention that these are available in both black color and brass color, so that's kind of neat. But let's take a closer look at what these actually are. So what we have here is we actually have a knuckle duster weapon. So if we're going to use them as a knuckle duster, we can just kind of swipe and hit them really hard. I mean, look at that. That just does some major damage. But what is so cool about this specific type of knuckle duster is we have this little button here that when we hit it, automatic little knife comes out. So check that out. That is so cool. So if we were to use that, we've got this little thumb rise here. I can put my thumb against there, and let's just test this out. Oh man, that just actually, jeez, just dug in. I feel like a cat right here or something. That's pretty awesome. I mean, that's really digging in. And when you actually hit that button, it locks this blade in place, so that's not going to swing back at you at all. It actually holds out there very, very securely. So I think it's just a really, really cool weapon. Now the blade itself is made from a 440 stainless steel that's actually very sharp, and then the tip is extremely sharp. And the body of these knuckles are made out of a zinc aluminum, which seem to be very, very durable. I'm just going to try that again just to make sure they can hold up okay. I mean, look at that. That could do some major damage. One other thing I want to mention is when you're using knuckle dusters, you can hold them in a couple different ways. Now, these specific ones, because of the size of the palm grip, actually feel much better in a swiping fashion. But if we're going to use this blade thing, you actually have to hold them a little bit differently. You want to hold them up a little bit lower on your knuckles and then use that thumb rise right here to gain a little more control on your knife. Now we can tell that this is a hawkbill blade, which is going to be excellent for digging into your target. I mean, look at how that just digs right into that. That's just yanking off pieces of wood right there. That would do some major damage, and this seems to hold up really, really well, so I like how durable this knife actually is. Now the finger hole diameter on this is approximately 1 1/4 inches by 1 inch. So you can see that it's plenty big for the size of my hands, and I have fairly large hands too. Now the blade length is approximately 1 inch. The height is approximately 5 inches, and the width is approximately 2 1/4 inches, and it weighs approximately 4.9 ounces. But one thing I really want to mention is that it's extremely important that you check your local laws on this, because it's not only a knuckle duster, it also has the automatic knife feature. So just check your local laws just to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. But that's about all I have to say about this, so I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, and our next weapon is the rugged combat Bowie knife. Check this thing out. This actually reminds me a lot of Rambo or something. I mean, this is a huge Bowie knife, and it's actually really heavy too. So first off, you can see that it's got a really nice genuine leather sheath with a belt loop on it, so you could hang it from the side of your body if you want. But you guys want to see the blade itself, so let's go ahead and open that up. Check that out. That is so mean looking. Hey, Amanda, what type of blade is that?
It's definitely a clip point blade.
Yes, she got it right. That is absolutely a clip point blade. And if we look at this, we can see that it's got an unsharpened swedge on top. But the blade itself is made from some sort of stainless steel. Now, the manufacturer did not tell us exactly what type it was, but based on the sheen of this blade, I'm going to guess that that is a 3CR13 stainless steel. But this thing is thick. This is actually a 1/4 inch thick blade, and we can tell that it is full tang, goes all the way through the handle. We've got these really nice black pack-a-wood scales here that have been hooked onto the handle with these really nice brass pins. And then this pommel right here is made from solid brass, and we also have this solid brass handguard there. So one thing I was kind of thinking about is this pommel is so devastating looking that I think we could actually break something with that really, really easily. So then I got to thinking, a couple of weeks ago, one of our subscribers who goes by the name The Real Romans 13 sent me some coconuts in the mail because he thought it would be fun if I tested some of these weapons out on coconuts. So I actually have one of your coconuts right here, Roman. So I'm going to go ahead and test the pommel of this knife out on the coconut. Let's just see how easily it'll break. So this thing is actually a very solid coconut. So I don't know if it's going to break it, but let's give it a try. All right, here we go. Oh, shoot. It worked, but it definitely cut up my finger a little bit in the process. So there might be a little blood on this video. No big deal at all. But the blade itself is actually super sharp. The tip is very sharp, but let's go ahead and test out the blade just a little bit. All right, so first off, I'm going to start by actually just chopping a little bit. I mean, that thing, geez, that thing does some pretty darn good damage there. And then let's just stab a little bit. Oh man, you can see my blood is kind of splattering on there. No big deal though. I want to try this in reverse grip as well. So in reverse grip, I actually have this section up here that gives me really good placement for my thumb. So that's going to make it very easy for me to get good control in reverse grip. So I'm going to go ahead and test that out really quick. I mean, look at that. That just stuck in really, really nicely. Never mind the blood on the handle. But if we look closer at the blade, we can see that we have this choil here, which is great because then we can kind of put our index finger in there and then we have better control of the blade in case we are doing utility tasks like taking the bark off of a tree or something. Now we can also see that there is this fuller in the blade, which doesn't do much to take any weight off the blade, but it does give it a nice aesthetic appeal. Now the overall length of this knife is approximately 16.5 inches. The blade length is approximately 11 inches and the total weight is approximately 2 pounds. So that is a really heavy Bowie knife. So I absolutely love this thing. I think this is the most devastating looking Bowie knife we've probably ever shown before. I love it. But let's go ahead and put that away and move on to our next weapon. All right, guys, so I took a little bit of time to clean up this area and cover up this massive flesh wound on my finger, but I think we're in a good space now. So our very next weapon of the day is the high impact Kora Sword. Check this thing out. And I know what you guys are thinking, what the heck is a Kora Sword? That's a great question. So the Kora Sword originated in Nepal where it was used by the Gurkha soldiers. Kora swords are mainly used for chopping and slashing, and they have this flared tip to them which gives them a little more momentum when you swing. Plus, you can use that tip for actually breaking through skulls. So that is a really cool design for a bladed weapon. Now this specific Kora sword is made entirely out of polypropylene, which over the last few weeks we've been showing off a lot of polypropylene weapons and we've been really testing them out to make sure that they hold up to some major abuse, and they hold up just perfectly. So I want to actually test this one out just a little bit. First off, I want to test out this little skull cracker right here. Now Roman, we have another one of your coconuts here, and I'm just going to try using that to see if I can bust through this coconut. So let's go ahead and try that really quick. Okay, I mean, it kind of worked. It took off the side of the coconut. Oh yeah, okay, you can see that it actually cracked there and there's water dripping out of it. So it did bust through the coconut. I actually think I just didn't hit it hard enough because I don't have a lot of space here. I'm gonna go ahead and try that again. Okay, now I'm just getting all wet with this thing. But let's go ahead and test this out on the Wing Chun dummy as well because I want to see how durable this actually is. I'm going to pull out this bloody blade from the past. And the interesting thing about Kora swords also is you hold them this way. So you're swinging with the blade right here. So let's go ahead and test that out. Yeah, I mean, it's holding up pretty nicely. We've got a little bit of damage there, and then the tip is a little bit of damage from actually hitting that brick over there too. But overall, this would make an excellent practice sword or a great cosplay sword. So I think this is actually pretty cool. You could actually use this for combat if you wanted to. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it on top just to see if we can actually stick it in a little bit. Okay, it's not sticking in because that is too wide there, but it also didn't really hurt the blade. So as far as a practice sword goes, I think this thing would be awesome. Now we can also see that the blade itself has this nice little spider web looking design to it. And then if we look at the handle on this thing, we can see that it has this kind of reptile skin pattern to it, which gives it a really nice grip. So I actually have really good control of this, which is awesome. Now the overall length of this is approximately 31 inches. The blade length is approximately 25 inches, and the total weight is about 1 pound. So that is a really nice weight for a practice sword. But that's about all I have to say about this, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, and the last weapon of the day is the White Pearl OTF Stiletto. Awesome, I love OTF knives, so this is gonna be fun to show off. So first off, we can see that it has this really nice nylon sheath with a belt loop on it, so we could hang it from the side of our body if we wanted to, but you guys don't care about that. You guys just wanna see the blade itself, so let's go ahead and open that up. And check that out. Is that not the most beautiful looking OTF stiletto ever? So first off, we can tell that the frame on this thing is made of very durable and thick steel. So that is actually super heavy duty when it comes to an OTF knife. That thing is not going to break on you easily at all. And then we can see that the scales are made from acrylic with a white pearl design to it, which gives it a really nice authentic look. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting about this is the stiletto originated in Italy. And this specific stiletto was actually manufactured in Italy. So that's kind of cool in itself. Now let's take a look at the blade of this thing. Oh, is that not awesome? All right, so the blade is made from an AUS 8A steel. Now, AUS 8A steel is a Japanese steel that's known for being very corrosion resistant and very easy to sharpen. Now, stilettos in general are more of a stabbing weapon than a slicing weapon. So this specific stiletto is sharpened on both sides of the blade and has a very sharp tip to it. Let's actually try stabbing with it a little bit. Oh yeah, that stabbed in just beautifully. In fact, if we go ahead and put it in reverse grip, yeah, that stabbed in really nice and solidly. And one of the things with OTF knives that people are always concerned about is after you stab something with it, is the blade functionality still going to work? So let's go ahead and check that out. Oh yeah, look at that. I love the functionality of that knife. Now, for those of you who don't know, OTF actually stands for out the front, which means that it's an automatic blade, which means that it can eject and retract the blade very, very quickly. But I actually want to test this thing out a little bit more, so I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Amanda to test it out with her little hands.
Yay. Yeah, it's very comfortable in my hands. It's definitely not too big, even though I do have smaller hands. And I mean, yeah, I think it works really nicely. I do really like it.
What about in reverse grip? Does it feel pretty comfortable?
Yeah, feels comfortable. So I'm kind of afraid of the Wing Chun dummy, but...
Yeah, I'm actually glad that Amanda mentioned this. So our Wing Chun dummy just looks terrible at this point, and a few of you guys have come up with names for our Wing Chun dummy. My favorite in the past was, I believe it was a guy named John came up with the name Woody for our Wing Chun dummy. Someone came up with Archie this weekend. Mel, you just came up with a name for it. What was that? Splinter. You said Splinter, which is an excellent name because look at this. I mean, think how many splinters we could get from just stabbing it. So it is time for us to replace this Wing Chun dummy. So that'll be coming soon. So overall, how is the OTF functionality of that knife for you? Do you think you could use it okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, you're able to use that just fine. So that's pretty awesome. Is there anything else you want to test out with this guy?
I mean, I guess if I want to test out reverse grip, down here works.
Okay. And you know what I'm also really always curious about is let's just try stabbing this a bunch of times just to make sure the functionality doesn't get messed up, because a lot of people say that with OTF knives, the blade can actually get off the rail of the knife and then it can mess them up. So let's actually give it quite a few stabs just to make sure it's going to be okay. Holy. Okay, so if that's not a test, I don't know what is. So oh yeah, still works great. So this is definitely an excellent OTF knife. The blade still looks great, still sharp. I'm gonna try chopping with it, strangely enough, even though that's definitely not the use of this, but I wanna see if the blade gets off track that way. So I just chopped it into splinter pretty hard. Still great. So this is a really nice OTF knife. But one thing I want to mention is that this is only available on combative.com. It's not available on KarateMart.com. Combative.com is more for our tactical type of weapons, so if you're looking for that kind of thing, definitely check out combative.com. But the overall length of this is approximately 11 inches. The blade length is approximately 4 3/4 inches, and the total weight is approximately 8 ounces. So that is a really nice weight for this knife. But one thing I do want to mention is just check your local laws, because the laws are extremely strict when it comes to OTF knives, and you just want to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. But at the end of this video, please go to the community tab and vote for which weapon you like best this week. If you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments below. You never know, we could end up featuring your comment on next week's video. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel, and check out KarateMart.com because we've got all sorts of awesome weapons on there right now. But until next week, we'll see you Weapons Wednesday.